What's going on, fantasy folks, fans, friends, family? This is Commissioner Big Leak, aka Big Meech, coming to you from a dark, dark alley in San Antonio, Texas, bringing you the haps on what's going on in Week 15 in the Any Given Sunday Fantasy Football League. Lots going on this Christmas evening. Merry Christmas to you all, fellas. Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy whatever, Ramadan, ramen noodles, everything. It's your boy, bringing it to you. The instrumental sounds of DJ Premier and Gangstar. Master Pale, rest in peace, the one and only Guru. Last week started the playoffs in the Any Given Sunday Fantasy Football League, and the bottom four teams, Team Rough Rider, Microphone Fiend, Fly Jocks, Forever Living Young, and the Q-Town Eagles did not make the playoffs, so we'll leave those guys right where they stand. Last week, the upset week, the team number 5, actually, the White Shadows, as prophesied by the hater, the cowboy, the shadow man himself, Jim Willerson. He upset the number 4 seed, the University City Bottom Boys, led by my man Milo. Don't expect me to get your bags off the plane on time, Dabney. Don't have a final score in front of me, but I know Team Shadows won because they're taking on the number 1 seed. Number 1 team, the high flying, super duper, high scoring machine, the razzle, the dazzle, Team Hilliard, led by the cowboy hater, the cowboy lover himself, Sam Hilliard. This will be friendly fire at its finest as both teams love the Cowboys, but Team White Shadows employs a great deal of Eagles on his roster, and he claims it's for fantasy purposes only. He doesn't root for them in real life, but I beg to differ. Team Hilliard at 9-5, number 1 seed overall, taking on the visiting White Shadows. And on to the others winners bracket. We have the number 7 team, the Cinderella team, yours truly, Team Leak, for lack of a better team name, taking on the young young money himself, led by Christian Patesic, running things down at Madison Square Garden, or up at Madison Square Garden if you want to say, from down here in Texas. The 3 seed, who last week beat a game team Washington, led by CJ. Don't think I'm not from Miami, Washington. The Gotham City Loan Sharks at the number 8 seed lost to Team Hilliard and Rex Ryan, curse word. My man from the Knicks himself, Matt Harding, the whiz kid, the boy wonder, the genius in the film room and behind the bench, lost to the game one. The athletically savvy and fantasy football savvy Team Leak. Anyway, moving on to this next week, week 2. Since we only have 4 teams, we're going to go through both teams really, really quickly. We'll start with the bracket. Team 7 versus Team 3. Team League versus Young Money. This game is going to be a battle going down to the last wire because both teams know a place in the championship game is up for grabs, and my computer is not cooperating right now, so you'll just have to sit back and listen to the classic EPMD What You Saying instrumental. I'm the only one that's going to be talking during this post, so I put all rappers on mute. Strictly beats, strictly just game day beats. Finally, the MacBook Pro comes up. I'm going to start Drew Brees in a Monday night matchup against the Atlanta Falcons. This is for NFC South supremacy, and it has NFC playoff implications also. Aaron Foster, the top running back all year, is going up against a weak Denver defense Sunday at 4:05. Don't miss it. Ahmad Bradshaw going into the snowy tundra of Green Bay, taking on a game Green Bay defense. I'm hoping to get a little bit more out of him than I got last week. Sunday at 4:15. Anquan Bolden. Only reason I'm starting him this week is because he scored 3 touchdowns against Cleveland. If it was anybody else except Cleveland, he'd be on the bench. But we'll see if he can duplicate or at least come close to his week 3 performance. Stevie Johnson, Mr. questioning God himself. I don't know why I'm riding with him, questioning the man upstairs, but he's had a great year this year and a great fantasy season. So I'm hoping he can get it together and catch some big long bombs against the New England Patriots Sunday at 1. Lance Moore Monday at 8:30. I just picked him up because I may need points coming down the stretch. David Beeler's got me 11 points so far. As I told you before, it's this Saturday, Christmas night, and Thursday night games have already started, as have the Saturday night games. And the Chargers defense, I'm hoping, can be Jekyll, not Hyde, in one of their Jekyll and Hyde defensive performances. Peyton Manning is going up against a sound Oakland defense Sunday at 4:05 for Team Young Money. Mr. Christian Patesic, Jamal Charles leads the superstar backfield, coupling with LaDainian Tomlinson. Both teams play at 1 o'clock. Jamal Charles is going up against a tough Tennessee defense that recently bottled up Arian Foster. I'm hoping they can do the same to Senior Charles. LaDainian Tomlinson is going up against the Chicago Bears in a win and in for the New York Jets, high-flying Jets. Reggie Wayne, who's been a disappointment all year, is going up against Nandi Ashamuga, and the Oakland Raiders defense Sunday at 4:05 should get locked up. Mike Williams has been finding the end zone for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Seattle also has a Mike Williams, but he's out for the season. But that's a weak defense for Mike Williams. He should have a big day Sunday at 4:15. TJ Houshmandzadeh, who's been just down all week. Excuse me, I have my brothers watching and laughing. TJ Houshmandzadeh's been down all year, but he's going up against a weak Cleveland secondary. Should be able to get some yardage, hopefully not a touchdown. Josh Scobie will get him his normal 5 to 8 points from the kicker position, and the New England Patriots rounds out this offensive defensive team for Team Patesic. We'll see who comes out of this one and makes their way to the championship game. And speaking of championship game, we move on there now where the 5 seed, the White Shadows, heads to San Antonio, Texas. Actually heads across town in the battle for neighborhood supremacy against Team Hilliard, the number 1 seed all year long, has been flying high. Will he continue to ride high, or will he get tripped up and come out the loser in this game? The Shadows, Team Willerson, has vowed to come out victorious. Even though he's a Cowboys hater, he has taste. He starts Michael Vick, probable MVP this season. A little pissed off about that because this guy's a diehard Cowboys fan and he's getting major mileage out of Michael Vick and Deshaun Jackson. But I'm not going to give him any props for that. Rashard Mendenhall on Thursday had a pretty quiet day. He got in the end zone, but he's usually good for more than 14 points. But in playoff fantasy football in the playoffs, you'll take double digits when you can get them. Rashad Jennings, big time pickup for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think MJD is out. Jim Willerson, being the game GM that he is, the savvy GM that he is, he knows this. He picked up the backup, which might prove to be a big move. It's either going to be high risk, high reward, or lame duck status for Mr. Willerson. Mike Wallace already cashed in with 17.4 big points. Jacoby Ford is looking to use his speed in the passing as well as the special teams game to get some points for Team Willerson. Josh Brown is the kicker, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers rounds out this team's defense. Team Hilliard is going to counter with Phillip Rivers, the all-star stud himself. Probably won't get MVP this season, but is having an MVP season nonetheless. This guy will air it out even if there are 20 defenders on the other end. He's fearless. He's a competitor. He talks trash without cursing. Quite impressive, folks, if I do say so myself. Adrian Peterson is running back, one of the 2 running backs. Been a little injured the last couple of weeks. Missed last week's game with a bum knee, bum hip, or whatever, bum thigh. We'll see what's going on as he travels to Philadelphia, the link, where they will not be kind. They once booed Santa Claus, so I know they'll have no problem booing AD all day, Adrian Peterson. Matt Forte, this guy is like hit or miss. Well, not really hit or miss. I mean, he either hits big or he's pretty average, but he's having a good year in that Mike Mart's offense in Chicago, and they're taking on a tough New York Jets defense Sunday at 1 o'clock. Santana Moss found the end zone a couple of times with sexy Rexy Grossman taking over the helm in Washington, and he goes up against a weak Jacksonville defense this week. I'm sure Team Hilliard is looking to get a lot of mileage out of that one. Brandon Marshall finally realized that Chad Henning, or vice versa, Chad Henning finally realized that Brandon Marshall was on the team, and those two hooked up for 11 receptions, I believe, and 160 or 120 yards receiving last week, and a touchdown. Brandon Marshall looks to be back, and Team Hilliard is going to ride his coattails all the way. But speaking of coattails, this guy, Vincent Action Jackson, who missed 12 weeks this season, came back, and he had just the game of his life, catching 3 touchdowns from the aforementioned Phillip Rivers. Can he duplicate it this week? He was the leading scorer for the team last week with over 30 points. We'll see if the Cincinnati Bengals soft secondary can mount a defense against the talented Vincent Jackson. Nate Kading is going to do the kicking tomorrow at 4:05 against the Cincinnati Bengals, and the vaunted Jets defense, the superstars, the movie stars, the Hard Knocks Life HBO movie stars will round out the defense for the top-seeded Team Hilliard as we go into Week 2, the Fantasy Football Playoffs. I'm your Commissioner Big Meech, Big League, a.k.a. Future Champ, bringing you all the haps on what's going on. Enjoy these last couple of weeks, fellas. This is all we got in fantasy land, and then it's like unless you're into fantasy baseball, like a friggin' 6-month hiatus. So enjoy it while you can, fellas. Have fun. It's your commissioner. Merry Christmas to all of you. Peace.